Okay. There is only war. To consort with the heretic is to endanger one's purity, but to lie to an inquisitor is to forfeit your soul. Inquisitor... Damn, that's strict. Are you kidding? Okay, I mean, I know the inquisitors are kind of crazy, but also I feel like being an inquisitor is probably a good job because, like, what's someone gonna do? Accuse you of heresy? You're accusing people of heresy.
While it's undoubtedly true that the world of the dark far future is one filled with horror, immorality, and nightmarish perversion, it's also true that while many billions lead lives that are objectively unendurable, there are equally those who are gifted rare positions of privilege, luxury, and highly rewarding lives of service. Whilst the Imperium may demand loyalty, it's an unavoidable human trait that has existed forever, that given the opportunity, individuals will always seek the feathers to line their own nests. While some are heavily indoctrinated into the cult of the Imperium and live lives of pure service and abstinence, there are likely significantly more who live lives that are hedonistic, luxurious to excess, boundless freedoms, or how about just sheer raw power. Again, as before, it's worth mentioning that often what I might designate as a job in the Imperium...
Okay, so I remember that there are nobles in this, like, universe. So I'm assuming that, like, the nobles are living life, like, really fucking good. They're, like, really living it up, right? So it has to be, like, some noble-related job, right?
May or may not fall within our understanding of such a thing at this time. Often within the Imperium, you're not actually paid, you might simply be assigned a duty through hereditary or just assignment, and you find that your life leads you down a certain path and a certain role to play. So what we might designate as jobs are more roles in society to play, but it's much the same. You're working to stay alive and contribute to the overall structure of human society. As we look at the best jobs today, if you missed out on the worst ones, check the link at the end of this video, and we're covering roles in this video with no constraint, but perhaps we can also look at more standard working class roles that do not include positions of excessive power in another video. And lastly, what would you like me to cover next in a best or a worst rundown? Best weapons, worst deaths, best war machines? Tell me in the comments and maybe I can cover that one next. So in no specific order, let's run down the best jobs within the Imperium of Man. Now, it's no surprise that we start with the role of the Inquisitor. There are few roles less coveted than that of becoming an Inquisitor of the Imperial Inquisition. For many, the simple reasons for this are twofold: freedom and power. Inquisitors, unlike the majority of humans in the Imperium of Man, are free to pursue their own goals and missions, within the context of their role, of course, to protect and further the interests of humanity. The Inquisition at its current existent state is a massive organisation in the Imperium. Answerable to no one other than the Emperor and themselves, they reign as terrifying figures to most of the rest of humanity. Take your pick of the three Ordos as well as to which to best participate in. The Ordo Malleus deals with eradicating demons and the servants of chaos, basically hunting the corrupted, and they're also backed militarily by the Grey Knights. Not a bad team to call for backup. The Ordo Xenos are not purely focused on slaughtering the oddities of the galaxy, they also...
We all knew the Inquisitors were gonna be on here. Okay, what are the downsides to being an Inquisitor? That, I mean, you're basically like in the Imperium's like police, right? If you really think about it, there's like, is there infighting? Okay, is there? I would feel like being an Inquisitor, you'd have job security, right? But also, could people like similarly accuse you of heresy? But if you like counter accuse them of heresy, wouldn't they also get fucked? So like, wouldn't it be like the, you know, the pointing like Spider-Man meme? You know, it's like one Inquisitor's accusing the other Inquisitor of like fucking heresy. I mean, I guess it is a good job because like, who's gonna accuse you of heresy when like that's one of the biggest like things in this universe, right? So being an Inquisitor, you probably got there by being orphaned when young. Training process is bloody, horrific, and brutal. You have duties. Your job is to find the absolute worst of humanity in 40k. You know, I get that makes sense from like a okay. That makes so much sense. Like, no wonder all of their like mental health are a little like fucked. No wonder the Inquisitors all seem a little crazy. I feel like the Warhammer 40k universe would very much benefit from having, like, I don't know, psychiatrists. Fighting demons, there was one decent Inquisitor that was slowly deteriorating from being a psyker that had to interrogate Chaos Worshippers. Getting assassinated by someone you aren't even investigating because they're afraid you might be investigating them. Oh... You know, that's a low-key sounds like a shit job. Like, I'd be, like, traumatized, right? I'd be like, oh shit. Like, you guys are putting so much pressure on me. I'd be like, oh no. What the fuck? This is so stressful. But I guess, like, also, you know, it's not the worst. Men should only be thinking about war, not concepts like emotional well-being. I mean, I guess. Like, I guess. But, like... Take care of your mental health, guys. Okay, mental health is very important. I know men don't get this a lot, but please take care of yourselves. Please love yourselves. And if you don't love yourselves, I will come over and I will love you, bitch. On fucking God. If you don't love yourself, I will fight you so hard that you'll end up loving yourself. Trust, okay? I watch WWE. I have like I like UFC, okay? I know what I'm doing, okay? Literally punch you into loving yourself. How dare you not love yourself?
To spend time investigating, cataloguing, exploring, if you will, to better understand where and when humanity may want to lay down swathes of purging fire. They may spend decades travelling and recording what they discover, and they often have solid bonds and connections with rogue traders. The Ordo Xenos, similarly to the Ordo Malleus with its Grey Knights, gets to call upon the Astartes of the Death Watch, a force formed entirely of veteran Space Marines. Finally, the Ordo Hereticus. Often these Inquisitors are those that people lean toward, choosing them because they are the witch hunters, and rightfully they're feared by the heretics of humanity.
Well,
they hunt down rogue psychers, mutants of mankind, and those who would speak heresy toward the Imperium and the Emperor. Speaking out of turn, heresy. Spilled my beer? You better know that's some heresy. And as per the previous choice, yes, they are backed not only by the Adeptus Astartes, but also the Adeptus Sororitas. That is the all-female militant wing of the Imperial cult's ecclesiarchy. So if being able to walk around the worlds of the Imperium indiscriminately killing those who might look at you the wrong way doesn't appeal in and of itself, you also get to be backed up by an entourage of badass, bolter-wielding ladies.
Once they said that, they're kind of selling me on on being an Inquisitor, guys. Like, hi. So not only do you get to, you know, be kind of cool. Not only do you get to be kind of cool, you also get backed up by like angry dommy mommies in like sick armor. They're kind of selling me on being an Inquisitor, guys. Holy shit! I might be like changing sides. Do I hear heresy? Guys, if you say no to me, it's heresy, and I will get your ass. Trust. Oh, I got new art, and I'm so excited to show you guys. I got art, okay, and I really want to show you guys, but I'll probably show it to you guys after this video, so I don't keep like pausing and interrupting it. But hot ladies in power armor, fire. Do you think we're Inquisitors? I don't think we could be Inquisitors. I feel like Leah is very like Adeptus Mechanicus like coded, right? I feel like I'm more. I feel like I'm fortify coded, or I'd be like an orc, you know. I'd be like war all the damn time. What are we watching today? We were watching the Imperium's 10 best jobs, and like so far being an Inquisitor seems really fucking nice because not only are you like the fucking like space police, you've also got like your backup is basically a group of like hot angry women. If you really think about it, that's not an L. That's actually a big fucking W. Right?
Inquisition are, as an organization and individuals, exempt from scrutiny other than by the Emperor himself and, as I say, themselves. Inquisitors can demand whatever they need at any time, be it materials, citizens, manpower, and hardware. In essence, an Inquisitor's power is absolute. They deal out individual death or planetary scale annihilation. The Inquisition is a vast organization, and it's difficult to really summarize in short order the level of complexity within its own ranks, let alone its operations within the Imperium. The Inquisition is even known to have factional wars within itself from time to time, as it answers only to itself, and so must fight for its philosophies and fanatical points of principle. These rarely will last for any significant length of time, and if they risk spilling out beyond a localized area, they will usually be crushed by a heavy force of astartes to restore order by any means necessary, at the behest of yet more inquisitional commands. This gives a small sense of how complex and difficult to constrain Inquisitors' power can be, as they individually can wield huge influence in an Imperial system. Why is the role of an Inquisitor one of the best jobs in the Imperium? The answer is the sheer power you hold individually.
What the fuck?
Now, Imperial Noble was always going to make the cut for the best jobs in the Imperium. They are, as you might expect, the elite civilians of Imperial worlds, and the nobility contain lords and ruling families of major hive cities, planets and star systems. Having power and command over many millions, if not many billions of human lives, you find yourself born into such nobility, then you've already hit the jackpot in terms of potential lives to live.
That
You'll be
makes
raised
sense.
in safety and luxury, disconnected and likely ignorant of the suffering and abhorrent conditions the billions of fellow humans endure below your heavily protected living quarters. A life disconnected from the grim realities known to the majority of individuals within the Imperium, yet it's not a life without risks. Human desire knows no bounds, and murderous ambition and vicious feuds can continue for centuries between families. Many highborn will likely never leave their luxurious palaces, protected from the horrors of the outside world and the citizenry who are best off not knowing what they're missing out on.
Okay, so is this like Game of Thrones, but like in space? Do your corpse starch today? We are not eating corpse starch. Okay, shut up. No corpse starch for us. You're going into it. Oh no. Does she know the amount of mental trauma the Inquisition goes through? I mean, they kind of touched on it. Like, we watched a video where they kind of touched on it, because they're like, basically brought up, you know, being they're brought up into like being they're orphans or something, and they basically get like torture, not really tortured, but their upbringing is just really, really bad. So like becoming an Inquisitor is like the most like W thing as an adult for them. But yeah. So this is just Game of Thrones, but in space. Shit. If tame is not laughable, okay. Damn.
Highborn citizens of the Imperium are seen, but perhaps only by the nobility itself, as the pinnacle of human bloodlines, representing the greatest and most carefully refined family lineage. As is often the case when it comes to such self-celebrating aristocracy, for the few individuals who are genuinely enlightened or have something positive to contribute.
You know what I really want to ask though, chat? There is one thing I've always wanted to ask. You see like the bolts in their like fucking heads, right? What are they? Because the other day I was talking to Leora. Leora was asking me about it. I was like, wow, I don't know. I was trying to pill Leora on like Warhammer, and I was like, wait, Leora, you don't get it. Warhammer does have hot guys. So I showed her a picture of like Gadriel from like, you know, from like Space Marines 2. And she was like, okay, but why does he have those things in his head? And I was like, you know, I don't know. They're cybernetic enhancements. Okay, that makes sense. See? By the way, chat, recommend more hot Warhammer men, because I'm trying to pill my friends on Warhammer, and so far the only hot guy that I think is hot is like Gadriel from like Space Marines 2. I do not share sanguineous. See, my besties and I, we have a type, and that is not dead, you know? It's so fucked up to say. We have a type, and it's just not, as long as they're not dead, I think that's really poggers. But I think sanguineous is a little too not, you know, not alive. Oh man. No, so I've been like pilling them. I've been sending them like, I've been like, hey, you know, there's like so many, it's a lot of choices. I was telling my friends, it's a lot of choices, but actually, once you like listen to the lore, you can like dwindle down the factions that you like. So it's not really that many choices, because like they just give you, it's overwhelming at the start, but very quickly, very clearly, you'll be able to pick and choose what you like, which is okay, right? which is fine. So I've been trying to get my friends to like the Imperial Fist more. It's not really working, but you know, we're still trying. It's still a valiant. I don't know how to say it. Valiant attempt at getting my friends to, you know, like Warhammer. I'm doing my part, guys. I'm kidding. I don't know.
More of these noble family heirs are self-obsessed, idle, and prone to debasing themselves, often living lives that walk a very dangerous line between indulgence and heresy. Highborn also, among their privileges, are significantly educated about the lives that they live, the power and politics, the general understandings of the Imperium, and how it's best to avoid its significantly dangerous pitfalls. For some Highborn, it's a life of ignorance and lavish luxury. For others, their careful education and focused ambition can lead them to become agents of the Inquisition. How much of that is down to loyalty for the Imperium or carefully planned personal ambition is entirely debatable. Being a Highborn, though, is not only about wallowing in self-satisfaction. There is work to be done, albeit entirely self-serving. You must protect the interests of the family name, and more importantly, try to better them. It's a never-ending game of carefully planned subterfuge to undermine and steal power from others who need to be taken down a few positions and allow your family a tighter grip on regional power systems. Blackmail, scandals, treachery, and carefully premeditated murder are all day to day. It's a life of dangerous mind games, murder mystery, political power games, and decadent luxury. Despite the dangers, it's without question far preferable to eating slop every day, working to exhaustion, and then dying of some unpleasant industrial contamination. The Adeptus Custodes. Now,
Kitten! He's mentioned! He's here! It's our boy! It's literally our boy, let's go! All I see is heresy on my screen. I don't know what you're talking about. Heresy, that's crazy. It's our boy, it's Kitten. Custodes. Eating an apple is considered luxurious. Honestly true, in a universe where all you eat is fucking like repurposed people, that is, an apple would be insane.
Seemingly endless popular suggestion for best jobs in the Imperium, yet somewhat debatable when you really think about it. Overall though, I still think it's a good candidate, objectively speaking. Why do the Custodes come up so regularly when people think of perfect roles to play as part of the Imperium? Well, for one, the honour of serving so close to the Emperor. The Custodes are the personal bodyguard to the Emperor of Man himself, warriors of unmatched capability and whose sole purpose is to counter any potential threat to the master of mankind. Back in the days of the Unification Wars and the Great Crusade, the Custodes would follow the Emperor everywhere. Now, as he is interred on the Golden Throne on Holy Terror, they rarely leave the planet, taking a far less active role than they once did in the Imperium. And while their tedious daily lives may seem mind-numbing to some, they have seen renewed life as the Ultramarines Primarch has returned to lead humanity. And so it is that the Custodes' days of confinement to Terra over so many years has come to an end.
Robo Girly Man mentioned, but also guys, genuine question. So the Custodes, yeah? Are they strong? Are they like strong though? Very? They seem like really strong in the lore, but like how strong? Yeah, they seem really OP in the lore, right? They sound kind of insane, but like, are they good on like tabletop? Are they meta? That's what I was thinking. Cause like in terms of like now their ass, cause that's what I was thinking. I was like, oh, in terms of like gameplay, are they like meta? Or are they like kind of booty cheeks? Are Henry Cavill's favorite tabletop faction? Is it because like they're easy to paint? No, I'm kidding, but okay, so they're basically 2 steps down from a Primarch. One story of a Custodes flicking a pebble, it sounded like a gunshot. What? Giving work gear 10 times better than the Astartes? Ooh, you know what'd be fun? Playing a game involving the Custodes. They're cheap for armies. Oh, okay, that's not too bad. I was thinking of like getting like the Adeptus Custodes, because like from what I heard, it's easy to paint, and I'm like baby tier when it comes to like painting stuff. So I figured, yep, this is probably it. Also far better educated. They're more than guards, but also companions and confidants of the Emperor. You know, if the Emperor if the Emperor, you know, had TTS makes so much more sense now. Easy to buy and paint, yeah. Be like playing Dynasty Warriors 40k. Dynasty Warriors 40k sounds like a banger idea. And like they need to make it like ASAP because I fucking love Dynasty Warriors.
And they reach out with white-hot vengeance to destroy the dark forces of chaos. They stand near immortal warriors, the Emperor's finest gene-crafted warriors. Their dexterity and ability far beyond that of even ordinary astartes, their minds powerfully refined and fortified, their education extensively studied in all matters. For they exist to not only be powerful defenders, but to serve as companions and counsel for the Emperor himself. They reach out now more proactively than ever, fighting as some of the most supremely powerful warriors that exist within the Imperium, retaining the honour that the blood of the Emperor runs through their veins. They are the golden light of the Emperor himself, his manifested spirit, and only surpassed in ability by the Primarchs and the Emperor himself. To be a custodes is to be the pinnacle of human design. Their task of defending against the darkness may be challenging, but to stand individually as one of the most powerful and advanced forms of humanity ever created, beings of godlike strength and mental dexterity compared to your average human, bearing ornate crafted armor and weapons, and who is said to have been genetically individually crafted by the Emperor himself, there can be little dispute that the position of a custodes is greatly revered. Rogue traders are an obvious idolized role within the Imperium of man, where much of humanity leads assigned lives of extremely limited personal.
Rogue traders, I have the game. I'm thinking I'm putting it on the schedule, but I can't seem to figure out how much time I should dedicate to Rogue Trader. Because I am the type of person who will 100% get hyperfixated if a game is really fun. So, you know, I might be screwed. What do you guys think? It's good but time intense? It's a long game with a lot of reading? Oh my god! That's the one thing I'm bad at, reading! Oh, they've nerfed me. They've nerfed your girl, chat. I can't believe it. Why would I wanna fuck a Drukari though? Caiaphas Kane. Yeah. They're bullying me, guys. He's a hot space elf. Do we fuck the Drukari guys in like Rogue Trader? What if we make that the goal? What if we make that the goal of the stream? 12 hours or until we manage to fuck the Drukari. In which case, that's the end of the game. We win also because I feel like the Drukari might kill us. No? Chat is like, no, don't do it. That's crazy. I bang a salamander. Do you think okay. Out of all of the different like factions, right? Who would treat you the nicest? And by treat you the nicest, I don't mean like as a person, but I mean like as a lover. Who would be like the most like gentle? Wait, how? Yeah, wait. Everyone's telling. Okay, so Twitch chat is telling me to romance like the Mechanicus in like Rogue Trader, right? But do they even have, you know, like, you know? Because like, isn't that like a weakness of the flesh? So would the Mechanicus have a, you know? Yes, they do. No, they don't. You'd have a lot to work with, apparently. Oh, Robodong. You're so right for that. Okay. The Piston 9000. Oh my god. That is insane. That is actually insane. Toasters are the best lovers. I'm so sorry, gamers. This is how you find out your streamer is not a toaster. They still have kids? Really? Aren't kids like weakness of the flesh? That's insane. There's actually a sweet love story about a tech priest and his wife in 30k. You know, that makes sense. I gotta get the toaster upgrade. Guys, I'm sorry. You guys thought I was a real like girl this whole time. I'm actually a toaster. I'm so sorry I had to find out this way. I was a toaster all along. But the two love interest in, okay, we'll play Rogue Trader like it's a dating sim. So we will do 12 hours of Rogue Trader or until we manage to romance someone. Once we walk away with a man's, that's the end of the game for us. That's it. It's done. It's complete. What do you guys think? My reality has been ruined. I'm so sorry. This is how you find out. I've been a toaster this whole time. VTubers aren't real anyways. You're so right for that. You're so right and so valid for that. Caiaphas Cain slept with the tech priest once. I know. It was me all along. Trust.
No choice. Rogue traders lead lives that are entirely the opposite. Lives of exploration and adventure and self-determination. They're able to travel wherever they feel is worthwhile, dreaming and speculating for the betterment of mankind, but also for themselves. Rogue traders lead a life that many can only dream of. Successful rogue traders will also have close-knit teams of specialists around them, experts in diplomacy, exploration, and combat. These individuals, though, unlike others related through their likely noble family ties, will be well-educated with a strong sense of instinct and cunning, skilled merchants, potentially pirates, and most certainly opportunistic. Rogue traders are truly exceptional individuals, and it's easy to romanticize rogue traders as they rattle on through the void in their customized and potentially Xenos-adapted ships. Some rogue traders even end up feeling so disconnected from the Imperium that they end up feeling no strong ties with it, and they walk a very thin line between loyalty and heresy. The truest appeal to take on the role of a rogue trader, though, is the freedom of exploration and trade that it represents. You're not tied to a specific world, nor are you beholden to oaths of duty and service to the Emperor. You're not going to be sent out on orders back to back from one place to another, dealing with situations and entities that would be enough to destroy the minds of many ordinary citizens. As a rogue trader, you lead a difficult life, but a life where the challenges become their own rewards. Adventure, glory, and riches await the smartest and most capable of rogue traders, and for any who are able to locate the rarest of the rare lost STC templates, eternal glory in the Imperium awaits you. Now initially I was considering not to include a high administrator in the best jobs list because I considered it to be too close to a planetary governor or a noble. However,
no, stop. This makes so much sense. Okay, so I'm gonna be real. I'm basing this off of like if the Emperor had TTS, but this makes so much sense because like, hi, that one little fucker got away with like everything, right? The High Administrator of...
Hi gamers, it's me, Miwa, and I have something really important to tell you. Every time you guys watch my videos and don't like or subscribe, I lose another dice. I've lost like 1 billion at this point. Please, you gotta do it for my dice collection.
Whatever his name is, Fyodor or something. Like, he got away with everything, therefore I too believe that it is a good job.
It does differ and certainly sits as one of the more cushy jobs available to individuals in the darkness of the far future. Essentially, you would take on the role of a high-ranking bureaucrat.
Yeah.
This is beneficial to you for multiple reasons. One being the scale of the administratum. Even as a senior staff member within its vast sub-departments would allow you to fade into a state of greyness. And this is likely one of the safest positions to occupy within the Imperium. Not being as visible and therefore open to conspirators as a noble, not being so dispensable as an ordinary pleb citizen who nobody is going to miss. You also are a vital cog in the mechanisms that keep the Imperium operating. While you are replaceable, it's going to be in the interests of all to limit how frequently that occurs and risk bureaucratic chaos. Lastly is the ability to remain out of sight and out of mind. Even the head of the administratum at this stage can probably only make a rough estimate of the actual number of divisions that exist inside the apparatus of the administratum. So the likelihood of you being able to live by any standards a comfortable existence with few threats toward you is significantly better than most individuals in the Imperium at the top and bottom of the pile. While your life may not be as lush and luxurious as that of a noble, occupying a high-ranking position is certainly going to accommodate you with comfortable surroundings, and that coupled with the relative safety and anonymity that being a single individual in such a colossal bureaucratic system is arguably still preferable to running the constant risk of having your throat cut unceremoniously in the middle of the night by your father's sister's cousin's son.
Damn!
Now, a Titan Princeps. A return to a role where you get to basically enact vast scales of ruination on the enemies of man. A Titan Princeps, again, while not necessarily the most comfortable of roles, is going to be one many would imagine has its fair share of significant positives.
What is a Titan Princeps, guys? I mean, or better than being a pleb, but like, what is a Titan Princeps? This I actually don't know what they are. There's a serial killer in the Administration who purposely messed with documents, caused mass starvation on several planets. That's insane. Titan pilot and the mind of a Titan. Hold up. Warhammer 40k Titan. I gotta remember what this is. Oh! Like just the okay. Oh, this is the one where they're put in, right? No, this is the one where what was it? You guys were I remember they're like space marines that can no longer operate as like proper space marines, so they're just put into like the Titans, right? Not marines. It's like 70 centimeters tall. Shit, dude. Wait, this one is 70 centimeters tall? That's like half my size. What the hell? Oh, it's like dreadnoughts. Okay. Wait, that's okay. That's a little confusing. So there's dreadnoughts and then there's Titans. Titan is bigger than a dreadnought. Only 70. No, that's like I'm like 150 centimeters tall, so that's like two of me. But okay. So can people exit from the Titans, or are they like stuck in there? Is this like actually Titanfall? So dreadnoughts are space marines, knights are the nobles, right? Titans are just people then. They're just regular people. Oh young, yes, but where's eventually you're stuck? They can leave? Okay. They live in Evangelion. I see. Okay, see that's okay, so that's where it got a bit confusing for me, because I knew that there were big mechs in like Warhammer. I just didn't know that there were 3 different big mechs in Warhammer. Wait, is this like a playable, like can you play this on tabletop then? And like how many can you use? Cause like this thing seems OP as fuck. Titans can have a lot of people inside of them. Tough enough to fight the machine. Oh right, the machine spirit. I forgot about that bit. Machine spirit is crazy. You can have like 1 or 2. It costs 2,000 points to feel. You can for like a meme. You get 1, but you'll lose. Is it shit? Is it like shit? Or is it like OP? Do you want 100 guardsman units or 1 mech boy? Ah, a large enough game generally referred to as a bot. Can have multiple of them? Ah, they're OP. But you would still rather have 100 guardsmen over one of these guys. It's probably better use the points on other things. Okay. You'll never win a game with one? Target your single Titan. It's okay. That's what I was thinking. I was like, this thing like low-key seems OP. How'd they balance it? Oh, they made it expensive and kind of sucky. Okay, that makes sense. They made for cool painting projects. That's what I was thinking. Like, they probably would make for cool painting projects, huh?
But still, I'm sure some of you are wondering, what is a Titan princeps? Well, it is a senior officer who commands the world-ending scale of war machines that are known as Titans. And this is something I'll have to cover in a lot more detail later, but essentially a princeps is a human individual with immense willpower. And this is required because they are ordered to operate a Titan, the massive war machines that tower over battlefields, tower over cities. The princeps must mentally interface with the machine itself and be able to control the Titan's incredibly powerful machine spirit. It is rare for humans to exhibit the strength necessary, and those individuals are exceedingly rare, as low as 1 in 10 million. For this reason, you as an individual are as near to indispensable as any individual in the Imperium. You'll be heavily guarded, and if your vast war machine were to be disabled in battle, no resource would be spared to recover you. One of the very few situations where the Imperium cares significantly about an individual human life. Operating a Titan is also highly addicting. For perhaps obvious reasons, the princeps will feel the Titan as if it were their own body. They will feel as if they themselves are this staggeringly dominating war machine of godlike power. This intense, overpowering addiction can often lead princeps to spiral down into madness as their mind is too heavily strained and they fight against the spirit of the machine itself. Princeps do not individually operate a Titan. The task is far too difficult for one person alone, and will have a team of juniors known as moderati who assist in other operations and coordinations required to run the Titan. A princeps, though, is a rare gifted role to play for the Imperium, heavily immersive and symbiotic as the war engine's machine spirit learns from the princeps and the princeps from the previously stored memories and experiences of the Titan. It is a position few could ever imagine having the opportunity to be designated as a commander and operator of one of the most powerful weapons the Imperium holds.
This makes a ton of sense now. Now that I've like watched on and he's explained it, this makes so much sense. Yeah, okay, now I get why this would be an excellent job, and I also get why this is a power trip, basically, huh? This is just a crazy power trip, huh? One of the stories has a retired Titan pilot. It's kind of sad. Oh no. You want to know something? There's like so many like mini side stories for smaller characters in the Warhammer lore, like, that I just know would make me bummed out for like an entire day if I like read them. Everyone's gangster till the church starts walking. You're so right for that. The job is so much fun they can't stop. Job enjoyment? Huh? Enjoying your job in the Warhammer 40k universe? In my Warhammer 40k universe? Unacceptable. How dare they? How dare they? That is insane. Having fun in the Imperium? Question mark? That's crazy. Some Titan pilots get to attach and are permanently plugged into their Titan, and Hell's Reach the Titan pilot is literally floating in a tube. That makes sense. If you play Space Marine 1, the presence of a Titan is the only reason they don't use exterminatus. That makes sense. The Tau thought the Titans were a myth the Imperium made up until the Imperium dropped one into battle against them. I know of Pleasure Worlds, we just haven't done like a deep dive into them. There's like so much to do deep dives into. You know what's the thing? I feel like there's so much lore about the Imperium alone that it would take a long time for me to slowly get through like individual lore. Yeah, we know of the cat girls. Chat has lovingly told me that their cat girls are canon in this universe. Holy shit. The appeal of piloting a massive war machine where everything else is pretty much an ant in comparison is really appealing thing. That makes a ton of sense. That actually makes so much sense. We're doing book group readings. We're not doing that. I don't know about you guys, but I cannot read a book with people. I cannot read a book with people. I am the kind of person where I need to like lie down in bed with a book, with the rain like raining outside, right? So like that is how I read books. It is very situational. And if anyone talks to me while I'm reading a book, I will literally be like, no, stop, go away. I don't want to talk to you. All I'm saying is 40k lore is depressing unless you're an orc player, in which case it's a comedy. True. Music and reading are a great combination. I can't read and listen to music. I don't know. I don't have like the brain power for that. I can't like focus. It's kind of insane.
Rain down prophetic fury and devastation against the enemies of man with impunity as you look down with powerful superiority upon the ant-like figures that you are crushing, rending, tearing, and exterminating with fire. The fools who would stand against the might, power, and irresistible force of the Imperium of man. Now, a planetary governor or lord is another position of supreme power that offers those lucky enough to hold the position lives that few could dream of. A governor is a political leader, although not elected, obviously, within the Imperium of Man, and they're also considered an imperial commander when it comes to military decisions.
That
Similarly
makes sense.
to other roles in either the administratum or nobility, a planetary governor is often a hereditary position. And I think it's safe to understand why somebody long ago decided that that was a good idea, and it certainly wasn't in the interests of ensuring the right person for the right job. Governors of important worlds within a system may also extend their powers as sector or even segmentum governors. This is to ensure smooth order and running of imperial systems, as the Imperium itself is far too large to be run by a more centralized system. The benefits of being a governor are that while technically you answer to the Adeptus Terra and the Lord Commander of the Imperium, you are essentially completely independent and can run your planet and sector however you deem appropriate. Quite literally, the world is your oyster. You do of course have to adhere to delivering your quotas for the Imperial tithe, but as most of your world systems are fairly entrenched and autonomous, this shouldn't be a heavy concern. If you were able to choose, which you wouldn't because the positions are hereditary, but any number of world types exist, and all would hold their own specific benefits to you as a governor. The top of the pile likely being governor of a garden or paradise planet. And yes, these are a thing, believe it or not, in the Imperium. They are worlds of staggering natural beauty, highly cultured places with massive, luxurious restaurants, dancing rooms, maybe even some form of casino for the nobility to enjoy, as well as any number of associated pleasurable activities. Use your imagination. To be a governor of such a world is just about as idealistic a role as you could hope to have. Other planets that could be enjoyable are, yes, feudal worlds, because they're fairly idyllic in one sense, simple people leading simple lives, or industrialized worlds that are not too far from the 21st century on Earth. These are a thing as well in the future. Even hive planets, because while hives for the lower human drones are an intolerably cruel existence, for those at the top of the pile it's quite a different matter. They will have access to just about every luxury you can think of when it comes to urban living. As a governor you have, as with other roles, immense power, and through this power opens up to you a lifestyle that is simply unimaginable.
So just to be clear, planetary governors, that's the... Do you remember in If the Emperor Had TTS, Vulcan and like... I think it was a side story or something, but Vulcan and Crow, they like got like stranded on some planet and then like got like absolutely fucked over by like a contract or something. Is that a planetary governor? Okay. So that's it. Okay. See, don't hate me, but there was a ton of like world building in If the Emperor Had TTS, so I base a lot of like what I remember on it. Therefore, don't fucking hate me. My poor dad, Korax, Crow, my beloved. I love him.
Many Imperial citizens. Now, Imperial Guard Commissars. I wanted to include very appealing role because of the supremely uncompromising nature of the Commissar. They are immovable bastions of Imperial will. They will execute their own officers and sergeants and just as readily as individual guardsmen if they feel it's warranted. They're certainly not adverse to getting involved in actual combat to make sure things start moving forward and are a success. To me, I often feel that it is this which exemplifies what it means to be a commissar, that if you want something done right, you do it yourself. This attitude is what I think is most appealing as a commissar role, to lead by brutal example and expect nothing of your guardsmen that you are not willing to do yourself.
This is crazy thing to say, but does this guy like low-key look like Conor McGregor? Like on the lowest of keys, does this look like Conor McGregor? But also, okay, so they're like space commanders. Yabai. He kind of does, right? Dyes hair, blonde, and shirt, right? More like the guy from Vikings. Oh, right, the guy from Vikings too. The strongest man in the galaxy, really? I mean, do you take celebrity faces and slap them on 40k? They need to make everyone look like, you know, Henry Cavill. The future... Okay. The whole future president of Ireland thing is a bit. It has to be a bit. No one's gonna fucking vote for him, right? There's no fucking way. They audit the commander/troopers. I got you.
And given the significant amount of power struggles, backstabbing and hypocrisy that exists in the Imperium, the role of the Commissar is certainly refreshingly honest, and one which in its honesty is appealing as a straight, no bullshit position to play for the Imperium of Man.
I guess that makes
Imperial
sense.
citizens. Okay, now hear me out on
Okay.
this. I know this is a bit vague, and I actually hate myself somewhat for putting in something so vague. But what I wanted to include here is that for all the nightmarish horror and disgusting waste of life that exists in the Imperium, there are also plenty of mid-level roles or planets that do not suffer the same intolerable conditions that others endure. And these lifestyles apply to many roles that you couldn't simply assign to one job. The extremes that we often discuss in the darkness of the far future are always the forefront of what is presented in our view of the Imperium, because so much of it concerns military matters or planets which serve to supply military necessities for the Imperium's forces. However, there are plenty of planets like the previously mentioned Garden or Paradise worlds where the conditions are far from nightmarish. I think that there would be
makes
few of us
sense.
who wouldn't mind being, say, a gardener on a paradise world, or an inventive bartender serving their nobility, an events planner for noble feasts and events, or how about
That
any
makes
number
sense.
of roles on Earth-like industrialized planets, not vastly different from our lives today, even feudal worlds with their obviously base level of technology and susceptibility to health issues, but still would lead peaceful lives, arguably idealistic in many ways. On the
Isn't it crazy that, like, if we were in the Warhammer universe, we want to be as middle class as humanly possible? Isn't that kind of insane? A lot of commissars to get stories are the exception to the rule. Most commissars have a little brick wall of fanaticism that will shoot a recruit for hesitating even for a moment. That's true. Yeah, we just want to be mid-tier as fuck. Is that kind of insane? Middle class in a paradise world is where it's at. You're so valid for that. We just want to be, that's kind of the real world too. I mean, don't you want to be like upper middle class though in like the real world ish? Like if I were in the Warhammer universe, I'd be like, don't be suspicious, don't look at me. Literally nobody look at me, right? Upper middle still middle. That's true. I think upper middle is wait, what constitutes as upper middle class? Now that I think about it. Like, you can buy eggs in this economy? I don't fucking know.
The Hive and more Imperial headquartered planets as well, it's not all bad. There are plenty of mid or mid-senior roles of administration and command that, objectively speaking, are far from miserable and soul-destroying and even relatively comfortable. So this was quite a generalized and vague choice, so I apologize for that. But I feel it was worth noting that there are plenty of ordinary jobs that would be very preferable, even desirable by many, people who are probably leading lives of simple pleasure without the pressure and the threat of being dragged kicking and screaming from your position of power by an inquisitor who suspected that you were getting too big for your boots.
You
Now,
know?
lastly, yes, Astartes. I know this one will be debatable, and so I say debate away in the comments. I think personally though, how can an Astartes not be one of the best jobs to have in the Imperium of Man? Yes, you face horrors and hardships, but those are prevalent throughout the Imperium. So if you're going to have a life of challenges, why not do it with some style? Genetically modified superhuman soldiers, the Emperor's bulwark against the horrors of the future, godlike figures to your ordinary human citizen who would literally worship the ground you walk upon. You instill fear and submission to all those soft and lazy nobles and governors who have maybe forgotten their comfortable lives exist at the pleasure of the Emperor.
Very
It's true that Astartes, the Space Marines, serve humanity, not to rule it. Yet at the same time, in the darkest, most recent days for the Imperium, under the leadership of the Ultramarines Primarch, returned now as Lord Commander of the Imperium, the Astartes maintain their role as mankind's legendary and premier fighting force. Maybe even
Would you be an Astartes if it meant pissing in your suit and never having sex again. But you could die a fucking hero. It'd be very cool. You could die a fucking hero. It'd be really cool. Like, you'd be like hella manly and shit, but also no puss for life, and also you gotta piss and shit in your suit. Marines get all the puss they want, they just don't want any. Exactly, like it kills your, like your boner basically gets fucking killed, right? Like genetically killed. Therefore, wasn't having sex anyways, bestie, no. You're a brainwashed child soldier. Yeah, but I feel like to people who don't know the lore, it is a very like romantic role, right? If you don't know the deep lore like we do, if you've only played like Space Marines, you're like, oh wow, being an astartes might be pretty fucking cool. Like even if the world like literally sucks, I'm fighting for a cause and I look really sick doing it, right? Dictates that all aspirants should be traumatized. Shit, dude, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not an aspirant and I'm already traumatized. So, you know, it do be like that, huh? Do I know about it? No. I need to be in a special state of mind to be permanently traumatized, and today is not one of those days. Yeah. Unless you're an Emperor's children, I don't think that we should. Don't let your, okay, everyone tells me no, don't learn about it, and then some people are like, hey, you should go read about it. Okay, why sex when you can serve the Emperor for eternal glory in the betterment of humanity? I feel like that is the like logic, right? Oh yeah, I was gonna show you guys the new art I got. Hold up. Here's the new art that I got. I hope you guys like it. We got art! We got art! I mean, clearly, you know, this is my fantasy. This is my fantasy. But hell. Do you use the Imperial rulebook as a construction pillar? Do you think that the Codex Astartes would be something that you could put in like the bathroom as like, you know, like a magazine? Like, you know how people put like magazines in like the bathroom? Do you think you put like the Codex Astartes in there? Who's the artist? This is by Ryuf. This is by Ryuf boy. Fortify! I decided I really wanted to get art of my favorite faction, and I was like, you know what? I want to be an Imperial fist, right? Guys, if I ever got my own house, I would like jokingly put like Warhammer books in the bathroom. So if anyone comes over and needs a quick piss, they could read Horus Heresy while taking a piss.